Hey guys, John Jones with another edition of Tuesday Morning Coffee. Today I have with me the beautiful new hairdo,
Oh, thank you.
Belinda Arender with F&M Mortgage. Belinda and I have been working together for years now. It seems like, God, we're getting old. But anyway, Belinda, I kid people all the time. There's a lot of good mortgage people in this town, and this is not a knock on anyone. But I tell people all the time, if Belinda had been born a male, she'd be president of the United States. She's just one of those type people. And but anyway, I brought her in today because she's always on top of what's going on with the mortgage industry, and a lot has changed in the last 3 or 4 years. But Belinda, what are some of the big changes coming down the pike right now? I noticed I got an email the other day about some things. Talk a little bit to the FHA changes.
Absolutely. We're getting ready to see some FHA changes. FHA over the last couple of years, they continue to increase their monthly mortgage insurance premium, and that's another change that they're getting ready to come out again with. We are getting ready to see MI go up again. So that is something that is on the horizon. We're also seeing some talk of where they may limit their back ratio. And the back ratio is the debt to income ratio, how much you owe, including the new mortgage, versus how much you have coming in. So when that ratio goes down, that means you can afford less from the mortgage perspective. So those are some changes that FHA is getting ready to come out with. We also have some rural development changes possibly coming out in that from the census, we may lose some designated areas that
I was going to ask you, has that actually happened
yet?
It has
not happened. The census has happened, but
the actual
areas
changes
have not.
in the areas.
That's something that
and
we
this
keep
is
waiting
rural
on.
home loans that we're talking about. We call them rural, but
yeah, the rural development mortgages, which if you're in a rural development area, you can get 100% financing. And with the rural development areas, such areas like there's some areas out in the Blackman area, some areas in Washington
they're not as
Hills.
far out.
They're not as far out as you think.
And that's probably part of the issue is used to be these areas were far out. Now they're not. Now I think they're trying to take them further out. So, but those are great loans. But also, Belinda, you work for a mortgage company inside of or as a part of a regional bank.
Correct.
So, talk about some advantages to that because there are some neat things.
Absolutely. We are a local bank. We're based out of Clarksville. The bank itself is over 100 years old, but we're a correspondent lender for your national lenders. So we have the ability to sell the mortgages to companies such as Wells, Chase, BB&T, SunTrust, some of your larger lenders. So we have their products and programs all in one stop.
Right.
So we're able to offer all of your basic products and programs with a couple of extra ones thrown in there. Being a bank, it also is advantageous for us because we can help with construction loans. Mm-hmm. If you've got somebody that wants to build, we can help through the construction side. Also, we can do second mortgages so that we can structure mortgages with a second mortgage to avoid mortgage insurance, or maybe a second mortgage to get the first mortgage down below the maximum conforming limit, so you get a better interest rate.
Also, bridge loans.
Exactly.
Which is basically a second mortgage, but if you want to buy a home without selling yours first, a bridge loan is a great option. Sometimes those are a little more difficult to do when you're dealing with just a mortgage company. They could do part of it, but they maybe couldn't do the bridge, and you have to bring two different entities into play, where with Belinda you can kind of do it all at one-stop shopping.
That's right.
But let's talk about rates for a second.
Mm-hmm.
FHA par rate today. What's it at?
Around 3.25 is where the FHA 30-year fixed rate is. The rates do change daily, and there are years ago, John alluded to how long we've done this. Years ago, we could quote a generic rate, and it was good for anybody that called in.
Right.
Well, now rates are so consumer-driven, based off specifics of your loan, that it's hard to quote a specific rate and it'd be the same rate that you get as the same rate that the next caller gets, because it's based off the credit score, it's based off your loan to value. Sometimes it's even based off where the property's located. There's so many different factors.
But it's safe to say they're in the kind of the low threes right now if you've got good credit.
Yeah, FHA's in the low threes, conventional's in the mid threes.
Right.
15-year, you're going to drop below 3.
Wow.
Around 2.875, 2.75-ish, somewhere around there.
What are the people in your industry, how long are these rates going to stay down?
It's really hard to say because our economy is such a global economy that everything affects mortgage rates these days. But we are reading and we are seeing reports that they expect them to stay low over the next, through 2014.
Okay.
Now, low is a relative term.
Sure.
Low today may not be
7%
low.
used to be low.
We used to say 8 is great. That used
Yeah.
to be 8 is great. When I first started doing mortgages, rates were above 10.
Wow.
So, it's a relative term, what is low. But I would say that definitely through 2014, they expect them to stay in the low range.
All right. Well, great. Well, thank you so much for
Well,
coming
thank
on
you.
with us. Guys, you see her number and her email. If you want to apply online, or excuse me, her website. If you want to apply online, just go to the website on your screen. They do an excellent job. She can probably have some type of answer within 24 hours of whether you
We
qualify or
typically
not.
same day.
Same day. Everything gets done quick. Not that she would promote this, but you can call this gal about 9 o'clock at night. She's working on loans. Funny story, and I'll end with this. I went over one time to talk to her about possibly listing her home. So I really want to make a good impression because, we're professionals. She's in my business, and I want her to kind of know, that I really care. And I'm doing this really thorough listing presentation. And she's over there at the time, BlackBerry. That's when BlackBerries were really cool. And she wasn't paying a lick of attention to me. And I finally just said, "What are you doing?" This is 7 o'clock at night. She says, "John, I got to get loans closed. You trust me on the loans. I trust you on the real estate. Just get with it." So she works around the clock. She's a go-getter, does a great job. I love her to death. And thanks for being
Thank
here.
you. Thank you
All
for
right.
letting me come to